So even if I'm in the forest, even if I hear a thing coming at me, I don't have to worry about it. They have to worry about me.
Well, what about man-eating tigers, Cameron?
Here, the only one I did see a man with a gun up at Chantry who was hunting. I'm like, hey, what's up? Cool. But and another guy with a bow to hunt.
I've seen somebody hunting with a bow at Chantry before too.
Yeah.
They were running up the ridge, hunting deer.
I saw somebody running up the ridge, like close to the bottom.
Is that like strudel thing that I had in the fridge?
You mean the thing you had over there?
Yeah.
I threw it away.
Oh. I know there's one inside.
You got another one, yeah. Hi, friends. I'm here today with Cameron. I'm live streaming. Cameron's drawing pictures. I drew a picture. I'll show you the picture I've already completed drawing.
What's up, folks at home?
This is what? Man, yeah. There's Cameron.
Hello, people.
Here's what I drew, and then we'll show you what Cameron's working on. There's a dance box, it's called.
I got the something of faces or something. It is the audience do faces.
And as you can see, there are some faces. It's a good picture, Cameron.
I tried to do perspective with smaller ones up top and bigger, pudgy Jeff Cousinos down below.
Gotcha. So the question today, Cameron, we're asking on the live stream is, who's least effervescent? ISTJ, INFJ, or ENTP? Least effervescent. Let's say when you pour this into a glass, who has the least carbonation? Who's the flattest?
I like how you operationally define the term first. So, who is the flattest? You mean emitting the least carbon dioxide gas if you were to contain them within a vessel and measure it scientifically.
When to be poured into a glass? Yes.
Least carbon.
When's the last time you were poured into a glass, Cameron?
God, it seems like every day. I tell you.
Yeah.
Least carbonation means least fermentation. So who's least likely to eat gooey, poopy food?
Okay, but listen. You can carbonate things without fermenting them.
But within your body, you're going to be breaking down your foods. So I'm thinking if you just ate vegan granola bars and I just ate In-N-Out doubles, then I would have more fermentation and therefore more carbonation.
Well, what I'm saying is, what if I drank some bubbly liquid like soda or water that has carbonation in it and injects directly carbon dioxide without any process?
Well, you are a consumer of soda.
That's true.
And since Rachel's near you, I assume she's a consumer of soda. And this soda you gave me is probably my first soda
In a while.
and since El Pollo Loco forced me to take one last time. So I'm going to go me least carbonation then, just based on that. But when it comes to probably foods, I'm guessing Rachel probably eats more like vegetables or granola bars
really.
When-
than you or I.
Well, when I live in
Sensory environment?
Yeah. More like my mom, ESTJ, she's on top of food and stuff like that.
Eric, you said sensor environment? Dude. Next level word. Yeah, you're there. You're there.
Well,
Good word. You should do a whole video on sensor environment. That's a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I've got my sense. I told you I like to hang out in the woods hundreds of times by myself. Like, yeah. I don't want to in a sensor environment.
Yeah.
I
My
don't
mom
know. Go
has a
ahead.
lot of canned foods too. She knows they're gonna last.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like soups and stuff.
Okay.
Fruits and veggies as a kid because she wanted us to be healthy, so I had a lot of healthy eating.
Yeah.
But on my own, left to my own devices, like I told Eric that in college, basically I saved enough money to party and like eat school food and live off of potato chips and like mac and cheese and pretzels. So.
Yum.
Now you should note that I'm also known as effervescent. Just say
You are effervescent.
no. I'm not effervescent. I'm keffervescent. Now, have you ever had kefir? Sometimes pronounced kefir. Have you ever had it?
Keffa. It's a thing.
All right, well,
They sell
in my family, we call it kefir.
they
Some people call it kefir. I've never heard it called keffa before, but I believe you. Anyway, I really loved kefir as a kid. It was like halfway between yogurt and milk.
Yeah.
But it's a very specific kind of like bacteria that they put in there. It's different than either yogurt or cheese. And
They sell it at Trader Joe's.
do they? They used to sell it at Altadena Dairy. Anyway, back in the day when I used to drink a lot of kefir, I grew increasingly keffervescent. That's right.
Who gets some? I always wanted
If
to
we
try
can
some.
find it, yeah.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, they have it at Trader Joe's.
And they have strawberry flavored kefir too. I heard was really good.
If we don't have to wait in line at Trader Joe's, though. I don't like waiting.
I don't wait in line.
You always have to wait in line now. Which one do you go to though?
We just drive around and not go to the store if we can't afford waiting in line, basically.
I saw my friend's parents leave Aldi in a huff when there was a store outside. When there was a line outside.
Mm.
You know, I get it. They didn't want to wait in a line.
Well, you should have said email that anthrax is there. It went.
Yep.
Here it comes. There. It
Oh, hi guys.
Oh, you know what? Somebody gave Kara 2 loaves of different sourdough bread. There's a sourdough with like some sort of Italian type of herbs, and there's a it's supposedly sourdough avec pumpkin. Sourdough with pumpkin. Do you guys like weird breads? Like such a thing?
I like bread.
I like bread. I like sourdough bread. Sourdough bread's dope.
It's a little bit on the thick side. Oh, you got me smoking weed.
I'm sorry. Email. I wanted to show your person because I believe email the anthrax was saying he's trying to type you right now. He doesn't know what type you are, and he's guessing you're an ISTJ. Is that right? Email the anthrax. Is that what your guess is?
Good typing.
You're a pretty good typist. This is my ISTJ friend Cameron. He even is such a good friend that I don't necessarily always introduce him with his type first.
Nor do I.
Sometimes it's just Cameron. Only really around here is he, my ISTJ friend Cameron, right?
So one of these days, though, Eric, you've got to coach me, plop into your room sometime, and have some other stuff to say, and then people are like, that's a blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure what it is I would say, but I kind of know how to like pretend to be someone
I mean,
else.
coach you to play it off like an INFP or something.
Okay, I had this neighbor when I was younger. His name was Blair, and he would go through some pretty serious. He had some serious issues, and I thought, like, what if he just pretended to be normal? What if he just pretended that, you know, he didn't have these things going on? And I realized, like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But in any case, what things would you tell me to pretend? What would I not have to suppress to not be ISTJ?
All right. So if you wanted to pretend to be something else, well, what you just did there was you gave us an example from your past that you linked to, right? That was from quite a long time ago, even. So if you wanted to pretend to be ENFJ, let's say, you'd have to eliminate that tendency to use examples from your past entirely, because they never do that. If you wanted to pretend to be like ENTP, well, I have SI too. So, you know, I also use examples from my past. That wouldn't be particularly the issue. It would be more like you'd have to learn to, instead of talking about, say, for example, oh, I got the scooter working and I brought it over here, you'd have to instead talk about what would it mean if I had gotten the scooter working, given our previous conversation in which we discussed the meaning of working, unrelated to scooters, but factoring in that definition of working, how would we reflect differently on scooters now?
Oh, wow.
You have to do that nonsense all the time. Why do NFPs become such ICJs on Adderall? I don't know. I've not really seen a lot of NFPs on Adderall.
Hi, everyone.
I had a student who would do this thing to words all the time. If someone said, I'm riding my bike, he'd say, maybe the bike's riding you. And he did this. I don't remember the kid. No, I just remember the little brain fart. And like, if I don't have anything to say, sometimes I'll just like go to that just to be a dork.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. Well, I mean, you know what, Cameron? Really, that's a huge part of extrovert intuition as well. Is that somebody with any first and SI fourth, or SI first and any fourth, will both have the same reality, which is we'll keep in our head something clever or interesting that we've heard said for later usage.
Nice.
Both types will do that, but the difference is it's not so much that you keep more stuff in your head as I probably keep more stuff in my head because I generate so much more stuff to keep in my head.
Yeah.
But most of it, of course, doesn't make it in there because if you generate so much stuff, most of it just goes to waste.
Oh yeah, most of my thoughts throughout the day are not useful. Or, I'm not doing anything with them. I'm not following through on that thing that I'm thinking about.
Cameron, what I'd like you to do is ascribe an arbitrary value to each of those thoughts anyway. Some of them were $10, $15. They're still valuable.
Thoughts? I'm going to go into pesos. We're going to go 1/10 of 1 peso per thought. That'll make me a billionaire. But no, I don't know.
1/10 of 1 peso per thought.
See?
In 1 billion years, you can have up to $100.
I will be rich.
So I started this live stream mostly because I wanted to share what was going on. Oh, also to announce the big news, which is I won one of my appeals with YouTube. Apparently, I did.
Nice.
Yeah, well, because I mean, the thing is, I didn't get like an announcement that says you've won your appeal. Yet the strike's gone. I used to have a warning and a strike. The warning was for bullying C.S. Joseph, and the strike was for hate speech. The hate speech one's gone.
Yeah.
I won my hate speech appeal. And in fact, that was when I said, like, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I made a video saying I want to sue YouTube for $0 on the hate speech one because I absolutely knew I was right about that one. So it's reassuring that YouTube's able to see that I was right about that one. That they're not complete. They don't completely have their heads up their ass. I mean, there was no hate speech in that thing. I don't do hate speech. Okay, no. It was a satirical retelling of World War II. In which I took on the voice of various people, like, for example, there will be peace in our time, that guy, Neville Chamberlain.
Do you think that if you said the same speech in this video, that some algorithm thing would tag this video? You said the same words said in that other video?
I'm not sure because it's quite possible the video that got the hate speech strike on that a spite monkey had gone out of their way to find a video that they could complain about so that I could, it might be that. Yeah, so I'm very happy about it. I think what this probably happened and I didn't notice, but it probably happened when all of a sudden shit started kind of turning around again and YouTube seemed to start working for me again. Like my videos would get a little bit more recommended and stuff. So it's still not back like what it was. I'm convinced that the warning harms me in some fashion.
Cameron, you want chips or a lollipop?
I'm good, thanks. I'm still working on the soda, the Royal Crown.
Yeah.
For people who are like special.
Yeah.
Lineage of royalty.
For everybody here, please listen to this, my COVID song. Which I published not that long ago. If you haven't heard it yet. Okay, so that's called Stupid and Scared. It's a COVID song. I really need to remix it though. I mean, listen to it. Vocals are too low, or it's got a couple little problems. Kind of rushed through it. Probably take it down and remix it, but it's good anyway, despite that imperfect mix. No, Zachary's an INTP for sure. I know this because I actually incorporated him into my debate coaching business and had him do casework for me. And he came up with some very clever and creative casework. He's not an ISTP.
Canada Dry Ginger Ale is yummy. But I think I'm thinking it. I used to get a Jack and Ginger. That used to be my drink.
Canada Dry and Jello with like fruit salad.
How closely before sliding in, and if you all look alike, I'm only asking for a friend. Well, any polar doesn't just come out. It always shouts and shouts. It is seeking another way. What does TE Polar look like? I mean, there's all kinds of things that Rachel will struggle with. They don't necessarily seem like difficult things. Well, we both do, though. I mean, T6 isn't that much better. Rachel really had a hard time holding food on her lap last night, for example. You know, that's a challenge for her. Whenever she's sitting somewhere. If I got my stuff like around me, like I got my mouse, my keyboard, whatever. She'll invariably come and sit down on the keyboard. You know, it's like just a lack of awareness in space of her body, basically. Does Cameron like math?
All right, yeah, of course. Wait, I mean, I'm gonna pretend to be someone else. Math. That's for
Do you really like math?
ISTJs. Yeah, I like math. I like math up to the math I know. I teach math.
You teach math better than teaching taking a bath. And you teach people how to wear a sash as well.
I'd say people and machinery should not go together ever. It is pretty scary. Unless you do the same thing over and over again, you never diverge from operating a garbage crushing machine. Nice. I'm glad that Moose likes the song.
Me too.
You could use heavy machinery. You just have to do the same exact steps over and over again. If you divert, you're going to get hurt. Not much. Right, but I
It
do.
really depends on the kind of heavy machinery.
Yeah, it really does. No, but I would say extra care for INFJs, yeah. I bump into something. Okay. We'll see you soon, Ghost Rider. I don't know. You're probably good at it because you do it over and over again, the same thing. I'm saying, if you do divert from like the steps that you were taught in what is it? Heavy machinery, you're going to mess up pretty bad.
Yeah, unless your heavy machinery is like a giant anvil. Because that you can't really mess up as much. Unless somebody drops it on your head. Don't drop the giant anvil
Don't.
on top of your head.
It's gonna hurt.
Too heavy for your skull to bear. Leave you dead. You gotta work with heavy machinery. Keep it on the ground. You're an INFJ. And I'm heavy around. TV polar. Walking down the street.
It's better if you don't know what to do. You're freaking out. You feel like you can't move. That's your blood fight mode kicking in, saying, I gotta think about this.
Automatic freeze to the fight or flight nowadays.
They should. That's what I do too sometimes.
Freeze.
Pause.
Fight or flight. Please. Every night. We're in the wheel. We're kind of stew. Have some bees. Come on, you don't have 100 tons of bees. A plate full for you and a plate full for me. Don't mind the stingers and spicy carriage. 100 bees and 100 hornets. Put in your mouth and Florida. Swallow down the toxic venom too.
My mom is a pretty good driver. She's an ESTJ, and I'd say she's a pretty good driver, just heavy on the brake. Oh, excuse me.
Pretty good driver, just heavy on the brake, huh?
Yeah.
My dad used to drive really well. Now he drives like he's taking me to hell. Like Rachel's mom is heavy on the brake. Make my car sick on the way to the port. Alex, where we departed for. 'Cause he was always rushing and stopping so fast.
Didn't want to get into an accident.
And we got on to the plane. knew why it would you be there. Everybody got us blue. I said, now how do you do? Where's your one tongue into mine?
All right. Any suggestions before?
That's really cool.
Thank you. Eric, you'll have to give me suggestions, otherwise it's going to be complete.
That's great. I was looking at it close, but
Something verbal.
Ooh, something.
words?
Yeah, it's more like a challenge than a.
I like the idea.
Charlie, I've been right. Oh, the other thing with this, it can get dirty and ruin your drawing, especially if you're doing pencil. This thing, you got it on pencil drawing, you set it down, and you'll smudge your drawing.
That's
Unless
good
you
to know
keep
too.
it clean.
Sure, I gotta play the questions from the song. What questions? Okay. Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I can reply to the queries by sending this. But there's a misconception, the functional attention determines capability. I don't get it. Totality. ESTPs can be bad for INFJ. Well, I say the name.
Just like get where the layers are. Just
Yeah.
go at it like, not like that, but like that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, in it.
Well,
Yep.
just
You're right. EHPs aren't necessarily good at sports. They may manifest their SE in non-sports ways.
Yeah, it was nice.
Math is not necessarily all about TI. Mostly, it's not about TI. Mostly, it's about doing a bunch of boring homework on this. I think your homework is boring. I don't want to do that part. I think your homework is boring. That writing assignment is boring. That writing assignment is not. I don't want to do it. That's no fun.
from the record. Don't forget about it.
What does an bipolar look like? Somebody who cannot see the determinant factor, like my dad when he would make contingency plans for the insurance company not paying. I explained it as CalPERS, California Retirement System Insurance. They were unlikely to try to fuck him around. And bipolar makes contingency plans for things that couldn't possibly ever determine. Anything at all because they are relevant. And bipolar doesn't get that at all. They think everything's equivalent. And bipolar doesn't mean what they say necessarily. They seem to have a non-relationship with words. They might say one thing one day and Pay their money hanging. There's plenty ugly too. Do. SE6. If you got the SE in the 6 slot, you go out and do stuff a lot. It's how you respond when the world demands from you. If you got SE in the 6, probably take good care of your dick and all of the other parts as well of you. Yes, SE in the 6 goes jogging on a regular basis. Runs around the track, or at least runs around the bases. A beat in the 6 would be different than that, that's for sure. But SE in the 6 slot wants you to know that everything went your down. What key was I in? A. What key was I in? Always a difficult question to answer, if you remember. But Judy always thought that she should have got to when she had the chance to buy. Judy soon forgot to buy children, although she ever called that. Oh, we need to know inside our soul. We need to see possibilities. We need to plan happening down by our means to judge a logic to life we devisively unlike and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up enemies, outraged at how they missed the sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into win on a misery, far necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting guys in the desert, we're stuck in such bloody larceny. We all partition the victories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. We share our limits, hoping to leave with you. You share for 4 minutes. You just can't share things like this. And Judy always thought that she should have got to when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about soon and not, although she ever called that she'll die. People everywhere gather up enemies, outraged at how they miss the sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into win and I make a misery, found necessarily from the savage ways. Insulting us in misery, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. More damn world. Woo! Thanks, Cameron. Thanks, Rachel. You guys are pals.
I slashed my titties, but I don't think you'd be as impressed as, you know.
Hey, listen, Cameron. I think I got kicked off the internet for flashing my titties.
Yes, you did.
I really
shaved
do.
them too.
And
You're
you
missing out on
just
so
got
much.
the appeal.
Yeah, I just got a strike stricken from my strike
Yeah,
strike.
so.
Can I not say flash my titties?
No, you can't say flash my titties.
Oops, I'm sorry.
We don't know.
It's fine. You just have to pretend that you said something that rhymes with that, like
Oh.
bash my
Kitties.
kitties. That's horrible. Equally horrible. bash my kitties is just as bad. Of course.
Okay, well, I go through these fits. I call them fitties. So I have to smash my fitties by, like, you know, not having fits anymore, like tantrums.
Which type would ask after seeing your frustrated face at work? Frustrated face at work. What type would say, "What's wrong with your face, dog?" Well, I mean, I think the answer to that, Rubens, is it's somebody who's very much interested in having you feel like they have, I guess, you know, there's a sort of presumption in that, I guess you'd say, right? Is that the right word? Presumptuous. For that person? Would you say that person was presumptuous, Rubens?
Presumption was presumptuous. The small bears smells like small bears. Yes, indeed.
Here's what I never do. I did a drawing of 1,000,000 of one thing.
I did what I never do.
Yep.
I did a drawing of 1,000,001 thing.
I really like your artwork.
Huh?
I really like your new card.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
Oh, no one ever calls Rubens presumptuous. Even when they see your face so frustrated. No one ever called that man voluptuous. Asked to be called that at home. Rubens travels up and down Scandinavian highway and different ways. Rubens travels up and grounds himself in Arctic charm. Everybody in Scandinavia loves Arctic char. They'll have it for breakfast, they'll have it for lunch, they'll eat it in their car. Rubens catches one most every single night. He goes down to the docks and he brings his Swedish knife and he finds the biggest char that's jumping from the water. He offers that char his second-born daughter, and the char says, "Fine, if I'm still alive after you eat me." After you eat me. After you eat me. After you eat me. Eat me. Eat me. Where's it resolved to? Find the freaking thing. Eat me. There. See. I sure do like playing the guitar sometimes.
Or is the guitar like in playing you?
Yeah.
I tell you what it feels like sometimes. It feels like a bowl of Miracle Whip mixed with mayonnaise, in which all the Miracle Whip and mayonnaise have been removed and replaced with something good. Listen, I'm not sure if I'm prognosticating or potentiating, but I am, what's the word? Being a harbinger. That's right. I'm a harbinger. I'm bringing hars. The very hardiest of the hearts, I might add.
There's always harbinger of. What's your of?
Gladness. I'm a harbinger of gladness. I'm not a harbinger of doom.
You know how there's the Earl of Sandwich?
Okay, wait 1 second.
No, you're fine. I'm just gonna put this into there.
I'd like to be the harbinger of sandwich. Because there's already an Earl. I'd like that title.
Earl of Sandwich.
There's already the Earl. I want to be harbinger.
Okay, well, I gotta say, Cameron, I'm not sure you need the har in that instance. You're just bringing sandwiches.
Ooh, tongue twisting my harbinger.
Well, I'm just bringing sandwiches every day.
Just bring sandwiches.
What's the temperature like outside? Is it like
I'm
within
gonna-
reason now?
I was thinking about actually going outside to smoke and listen to some music.
You guys want to take a bike ride a little bit?
Yeah, I'd have to go grab my scooter, but I don't live too far. My bike is broken now.
Oh, you broke your bike, huh?
If I have like 5 things, then I have 2 things that work. But I fixed them, so yeah.
Cool.
I have a lot of broken stuff all the time. That break stuff.
Do you? Like purposely?
I, in a sick way, I'm always like product testing. Like how bad can I thrash my toys? Well, until they break. This is what I do.
I actually could do that.
You mean I can't jump this off a law? Well, sorry. Then I get to learn how it works. Then I take it apart, fix it. I fixed my bike pump the other day. It's broken. Start taking it apart, take all the screws out, take anything out I can. It won't come apart, so I take my sledgehammer. And I start slamming the head of the bike pump off, and it flies apart. And then I see what's wrong with it. So I stick it back together after sledgehammering. So I'm like, now it works.
There you go.
I was just going to take it apart and throw it away, but I took it apart and fixed it.
Cool.
Like an office.
Oh, here. This is good.
Oh, yeah, cool. Do you want to try the $100 OG which I have Riley?
Yeah.
Can you catch? Pow. See, you're not that
No.
clumsy or whatever.
No.
That's Essie.
Accident prone. Yes.
It's different.
Yeah, for sure. I can catch. I can definitely throw. I'm
What's your
great.
sport?
I'm good at hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah. But you can say that if it's like I have enough luck that I haven't broken a bone, but I do have like scars and stuff. I've had bad accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna redo my bong water because, like, when it gets that dirty, I'm not. Pardon on.
This door.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yes, I can help you if you
pull
need.
the meow up here.
Yes, sure.
Pull it on my meow.
Hey, I heard your meow needs some pollen.
My meow needs pulling. My beat needs pulling.
Speaking of the bees, have you had any bee projects lately?
No, our bees died in the.
There was no queen or something. Oh no, there's a
No,
we had
it was a windstorm. We had this big windstorm, not windstorm, a rainstorm. Rain for like a week, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that I would love to play with you live, Rhythms. That is also a dream of mine, by the way. You and I share. No, I don't have any scales, Rhythms. I don't know anything like that.
There's a whole new Facebook multiple screen thing now. You can just like literally go do that, can't you? Have a bunch of screens and just have like an all online multiple place band.
I'm already late for my grandma's Mother's Day video.
The problem with that is the timing. You can't really collaborate online with music because there's a delay and you need to be in the same room.
Yeah, okay.
Can't write. I see it. I believe my phone number.
Which thing is the
My note. Got it. I have it.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that the Eric phone? Blocked on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Eric's phone. It's the
Yeah.
best phone in history.
It is. Why?
I
Alright,
don't know.
I'm done with my it's entitled Always. There you go.
Let's show the people. So Cameron, Rachel, and I all got a card done. We'll show all the cards now. This is
Oh, I have 2 cards.
Cameron's.
Ooh.
I like it. If you don't
What matches
remember,
your shirt, I like it.
you don't remember some
That's
previous
good.
previous
I like
cards by
the people.
Cameron.
It's
He's
like
got a lot
they're
of really
sitting in
cool
a
ones.
movie theater or something.
Yeah.
I did a drawing like that with sunglasses once, so I just went to something I already did before.
And the words on the back are audience of faces. Now, Rachel did this one. Agency create. Nice.
Like it.
Thanks.
It's got a lot more pop in person than you see it. You can't really see the poppy. This is the neon on this one.
It's the archivist of archives or something.
This is the agency create. This other one is archivist of archives, which I like. I like the very like abstract kind of. I mean, the thing is, this is something NI can do pretty well. I like the way this looks, even though it's very straightforward.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still kind of works for me, you know. So
Is that the direction that you designed it to be held? Did you
I was
design it a
using
certain
your
way?
technique. I messed up. I was using your technique of thicker in the front and like lighter in the back.
Yeah.
But then the dark green overcrossed the light green and it got all messed up, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just put plaid on the top and periwinkle.
I saw it as like a
So-
long rolling landscape with the chain link fence at the top.
Oh,
In
cool.
that orientation, but I wasn't sure if that was your
Thanks.
chosen orientation.
And now we have.
all right, so this is intuitive
Yeah.
with SE. Okay,
Hmm.
so in other words, NI, SE. Contrast very clearly with NESI.
But does
And then contrast with SINE. Now, what my thing said on the back was seekers of spirits.
it looks like it. It looks like people at a Marga or something like that.
But I don't really think I even looked really on the back very much because I wanted to draw reruns dance. I mean, I not rerun, but reruns dance.
Yeah. You did.
And so I tried to do that.
That's great.
But anyway, so that's NE over SI. This is a much more literal approach towards the question of audience of faces. It is, in fact, if you're an audience face,
Quite
that's
literal.
SI first, NE fourth.
They are abstract, somewhat faces.
I
Well-
like the faces. Like you're really good with the colors.
Agency create. So, like leaving a paw print is a sort of animal form creation. It's very NI.
I was thinking of pee-pee.
Cool. I think you can tell a lot about functions by stuff like that, by what kind of media people make. I don't think you can tell very much about functions by the thing that Homie was saying before up there.
I'm looking at the comments from 5:41 p.m. Does Cameron like math? And then does Cameron like meth? LOL.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I'll teach kids is drawing 3D letters. That one comes
That's
up.
good.
That's
'Cause
fun.
that's difficult. I remember as a kid, I was trying to show my grandma how to write bubble letters.
Mhm.
All right.
Do you want to do 3D letters? I'll show you how to do the 3D shapes.
So Tom Jefferson,
Not right now.
I want to
But
answer.
I
I want to answer this question. If cognitive functions are attentional manners, what's stopping an EHP to switch its SE as soon as the end of the soccer pitch and be as good as an EHP? Okay, well, nothing is stopping an EHP from shifting to SE while playing a soccer game, and almost certainly everybody playing a soccer game is mostly in SE. Now, look, when I played soccer, however, myself as a little kid, I was defense, furthest back close to the goal, because I was the shittiest kid on the team, basically. And mostly I stood there and played intuitive things in my head while the ball was on the other side of the field, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of how I was too.
Obviously, if something's engaging you sports-wise on an SE level, you're going to be paying attention to the ball, for example. But you'll note that it's not just a matter of being able to attend via that manner. I can attend to my introverted feelings. I can't necessarily force it to happen. Like, if I were to say, okay, make yourself feel this, feel feelings now, or I could try to get all lovey-dovey with Rachel, but I might get confused with FE and FI, and it would be a challenge,
Guess
you know.
who's coming over for a kiss?
Is it Rachel?
It is Rachel.
I thought it was Cameron for a second. So as far as FI stuff goes, well, what would it mean for me to attend to FI? Well, for example, if I were in a situation where...
Do you have a picture of Kara's hair? I'd like to see how you would cut it. I find that an intimate
Not
thing
since I did
couples
it.
do. Cool.
But did you hair? Wet the hair. She already had it like this, but it was like down to there. So just like grabbed it, grabbed the right stuff.
So basically, it's like...
and then just did this direction cut, because that's not the good way. That's
It's like
and then just
one can
followed it
handle
like
oneself within a normal range of competency
Didn't want me to do
to the extent
much,
that
but I
there's a
just
specific
kept
skill that's linked in the intentional manner,
I guess.
depending on the challengingness of the circumstance. So I think it's fair to say that I used very poor FI when I was at the lake and seeing the turtles in a depressing way made me really, really impacted. Like I couldn't tolerate it. I haven't been back since. So can I turn to my FI when need to, or when appropriate or something? What's sort of forced upon me? It's not really willful or intentional. Intentional anyway. But
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to like do much, which is nice. It really is.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
$20 back in my old pocket.
He's been thinking about getting his own set.
and certainly, action types can both be very effective at the other type's action function. So ESTPs can also be quite effective at the extrovert intuition when need be, or at least it serves them well. Its thought function is the thing that makes everything go, basically.
It does my
It's the key element of you being successful or failing in being who you want to be, function-wise, is your capacity to, or have that habit of, or whatever, ability to figure out a way to execute your eighth slot function. You don't like other people telling you how to do it, though.
I feel it. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
I think maybe they made a fake.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They made it a trend because then everyone started shaving their legs. And it could be well, I don't really have I think it's a couple of both. And then like the shit company probably like went out of her, ran with it. I mean, because like the chicken cream. Yeah. Women was like crazy amount of Yeah, that's
Done.
yeah. Works, right?
Kara came back. She's like, I'm not sure. Okay, I've got a great deal of the body wash. But, you know, it's the one that I said I don't like.
Carl's had enough.
$50. 3 bottles.
He's had enough now.
I bought it at Walmart the other day.
Really?
He's heard about how
Stone body wash is $2.47.
Wow.
we're
But-
international
Yeah.
design.
Like, you can imagine if you had
Been talking shit on that.
doesn't sound like singing.
Carl's had enough.
It is.
$60.
Yeah, and for that product, it is. Yeah, I know. I know.
But we honestly, we have a way where we just kind of like, trade money back and forth. So groceries online, even if it's for her, get her stuff she didn't, you know, want, but like, of course I know she wants it. She'll stock the groceries or whatever, but we don't really like. If I buy something for her house to fix her house, it costs $20, $40.
That's good. That's good.
I've got a match and you've got a lighter. I was high, you were much higher. I was high in the sky. Oh baby, I was down in Mexico. Oh baby, I was down. Let you go. Oh, wow. I don't know much about Cinco de Mayo. I'm never sure what it's all about. You say you love me, but you don't believe me. I say I love you, you got your doubts. Oh baby, I was down in Mexico. Oh baby, I was down to let you go.
We have a lot.
Unique cards. It could be anything.
Yeah. 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 No.
It's
Yeah.
not like there's 60 and then that's this whole system is done.
I think like. Wow.
It's an open system.
Yeah, I could just go on. We've done with that too. I think right now we have however many weekly package of cards we've got. We're like halfway through. We did a lot of them.
I'm surprised, huh?
I was too.
Eric, what do you see as sawfish and waters for vegetable?
I would say it's like one of the fish with the noses comes out with this.
Yeah, I know it. But do you see it as a literal drawing, sawfish and waters, or what would you?
Well, I would suggest that you show a cutthroat guy who's a human, but he's got that nose, that softish nose.
What about his skin cut open with that cut pattern and no fish at all, but like a fishing pole?
I love it, Cameron.
All right.
I prefer you do what your artistic impulses say. Today we're gonna sing a song and have a little lesson about artistic impulses. Are you guys ready for Artistic Impulses 101? Here we go. Do each cardinal function 1 to 8 starting with NI. Am I behind? I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind. Do you ever manage the internal rage manifest by somebody tell? Yeah, it's a tough one. Very tough one. It always seems to elicit at least a little rage. Anytime somebody leverages me to make that decision today. Too much extroverted sensing. Doing way too many things. Like following through on plan already decided. That's going to make me well. Vandy's hurt right in the fields. You gotta watch out with those seals. She's not used to them being kidnapped. Vandy's hurt, bleeding from her tenders. She's not accustomed to your character assassination benders. We're together. Vandy's hurt again, right in the feels. Just as though someone stepped on her in high heels, stabbing her toe beneath the stiletto. Thusly so goes in these feelings. There's a shrine to you. Filled with cheese and Mexican stew. If you don't want to go morphine, stop telling me my achievements are dwarfing my feelings or my character. It's just not true, not true. How many times does it take to screw a light bulb into a face or two? It would depend if the face isn't willing. You know, Cameron, maybe originally I could, if you wanted to go on a ride this evening, if somebody decides that's what we want to do, we could ride our bike down to your pad and meet you there, and then we could ride
Really?
back here. Right? You know?
Cool. I just take my stuff with me and put it there. Cool. So the scooter that I would be taking could go several miles, so wherever you guys want to go to would work for me.
It's important to get a little bit of exercise. Every once in a while, your thighs need stretching out. Good idea to exercise now and then. All your thighs need a certain amount of stretching out, out. Move failure, Eric. Eric is failing a lot, and that's his failure. It's frustrating. Probably out front, I guess, or on the grass, just not on the patio.
Okay. I don't want to walk into it in the grass either, so.
You just throw it to him on the grass.
Yeah, but
Is he out front?
Wouldn't he be more likely to poop on the grass over there if he's eating it over there?
Well, where is he?
He's right here.
Well, yeah, but if you, well, okay, well, you do what you want then. It's like if you have if you know what you want to do that thing.
Yeah, I think it's better in the front.
outside?
Not usually. I forgot I was live streaming. I'm just kind of freaking around with this thing. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for being here, everybody. Sorry for my boring live streaming.
You want to do the bike ride thing or go outside thing? What do you?